right, we are back with Ultimate Blerds. It is your boy Recruit Zero once again.
What's up? It's your boy Uncle Charles. What it do?
And we are here to talk about nostalgia activated, the beauty of video game soundtracks.
Music, sweet music.
Like it's evolved so much since like the days of Super Nintendo with
It has. Them chip tunes.
You know, chip tunes.
Yeah.
And now we got like full orchestral scores.
We do.
All type of stuff. Like you can sit down with the album really if you want to on Spotify.
You could. It's come a long way, right? Like
Very long.
Let's start at the beginning, right? Like we started with Pong, it was bleeps and bloops.
Bloop, bloop.
Then we started with Nintendo, and Super Nintendo,
Super
and Genesis,
Mario, all of that. Yeah,
And
Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't even know what they're making it with. I feel like they're making it with an old Casio.
Right.
It's like, I don't know what they were making it with, but I just like, I loved it. I loved it. And now to your point, when I think of games like Skyrim, right? It's like the whole like 10, 12, 30-piece band is there. Like
you got the
London
violins,
Symphony
you got
Orchestra.
an oboe in that joint.
You got a lady who sing the opera in there.
Right.
Like it's dope. I mean, but let me ask you this: which do you prefer, the new stuff or the old stuff?
I like the new stuff just because, like, my musical background, I like just hearing the.
Oh, you play an instrument?
I mean, I used to play clarinet, and I used to. I went to school.
He's like, I went
to school for audio production. So,
my bad.
You know, so just knowing all that is like, it's great to hear a score that fits into what's going on in the game. Like, it's not just background music. It's like you walk into a level and the music changes and gives you that indicator. Like having that, it just draws you into the experience more for me.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because like now I'm interviewing you, right? Because I didn't know the background, right? You just hit me up with this. But don't you feel like the music used to, I felt like the music sat, if this was the gameplay, the music was like here, right? Like it was like neck and neck and sometimes better, right?
Right.
And that was based because you had chip tunes. But now it feels like the music falls way to the, like, it feels like it's further away. Does that make sense? Like it's further away from the action?
I mean, I think some of that is because since it is a larger kind of production, they don't want it to overwhelm what you're doing in the game. Like with a chip tune, that beep, boop, doop, doop, that's not really distracting you. So that can be here because there's not much else going on. But in modern games, it's like you got so much going on screen. Yeah. You want it to it's kind of like with a movie. Like it's background until you come to that action spike where it needs to jump forward and really engage you. And then it goes back to being kind of an ambient thing. So I think composers for games now look at it as like how movie composers do. Yeah. Whereas like this is kind of a ally for the gameplay. It don't need to be right here. It fills in the gaps and then it jumps to the forefront when it needs to carry the game along.
Got you. But I feel like it's not as memorable. Sans a few games. Like, okay, Spider-Man 2. I don't know any.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in that like musically.
That's true.
That I just remember.
And I mean, every company isn't going to focus on music. Like sometimes it's just to fill it in like, hey, make something. We need something in there. But then other games, like you said, Skyrim, stuff like Shadow of the Colossus, where it's really like, it's a part of the game. It's not just a throwaway, we need something here. It's really in there for a reason to help drive the game along with the gameplay.
To me, that's like, I always look at video games when you make them, right? Like it's an equation. Yeah. And music is like key.
For sure.
Like if the music isn't memorable, you're not, it just doesn't stick. Like what's one of your favorite games?
One of my favorite for the music?
No, just period.
I mean, for me, one of my favorite games is probably Final Fantasy VII. Okay,
I know you remember the music.
Yeah, and the theme whenever you won a battle.
Yeah.
Like, that to this day is like top of mind. Whenever I think of Final Fantasy, you think of the victory theme.
Yes,
Whenever you think about Metal Gear Solid, you think of that music in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Those type of things where it was like part of the game it was key moments in the game where it really kicked in and you felt it.
Yeah. That's just what I miss. So like when I asked you earlier, what do you like? I like the old school.
Okay.
Because I felt like there was so much creativity.
Right.
I'm not saying there's no diss to people who do scores, right? But there's just something about making music.
Right.
Like, it is music. It is an art form. It's not just like this thing to move the cinematic moment and make you feel a way. Like I think of like The Last of Us, right? Like I don't remember any music from The Last of Us.
Right.
I just don't. And like, but so when I think about like the games, right? I like when I can hear the music in my head when I think of the moment in the game. Like I pick on Skyrim because that to me is like, even though it's old, like in comparison to today, it's still an example of like music like that was playing throughout the game, and like I loved it. When I think about the game or when I play the game, I'm like, oh man, this music takes me back. It's such a core activator of memory, which is why I prefer the chip tunes.
Okay.
Like for me, greatest, like if we start like a list, right? Let's just say we build an imaginary list because we're gamers and we need lists to survive, right? Streets of Rage 2 is at the top of my list. Yeah. Like Streets of Rage 2, I put Streets of Rage 1 like right behind it, or put them like together like a combo pack. Right. Like I'm gonna put that up there. Final Fantasy 6. Okay. It's going to be like second place. There was like the London Symphony Orchestra that is on Spotify that did like a cover of like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 6. Okay. I think like 3 and 4. Amazing. But I'm like, they wouldn't have done that if it wasn't 5.
Yeah, of course.
So it's like those are up there. And then like random, another one, again, where like music plays a part, is like Grand Theft Auto 3.
Definitely. That's one of my classic game soundtracks. Like just and even beyond the music, the mechanic of having it be radio stations where you can control it, because you could never do that before. It was just, this is the music that's in the game. Yeah. Now you get options. Shout out to Rising to the Top. Shout out to Sean Price. Shout out to Agala the Don, because those are amazing songs on there, on top of just the experience of GTA 3.
Rise FM?
Yeah, Rise FM, exactly. On top of just the experience of GTA 3 being that 3D open world, having that mechanic too just broke it open to where like...
You would sit in the car.
Exactly. Like, just sit in the car, roll through the radio stations.
Or you would wait for the perfect song to do your drive-by. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the music, like, it's like... Sounds messed up. It's like, I put my jam on to pick up the hookers, right? Like, let me...
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, all right, you pick this hooker up. I'm gonna put this jazz on. Right. Or I get out the car and beat her for the money. It's like, you know, stuff you used to do back then.
Yeah, but, like GTA A1.
Another one was like Toe Jam and Earl for me. Okay. It's not high on the list. Like, I wouldn't throw it up there like top 5, but like,
it's memorable.
It's memorable, right? Yeah. Like a random cut for Sega Genesis, the Game Over music and Alter Beast. Okay. Like, I've never wanted to die on purpose and let the game music play at the end, like, because we died. It was like, oh, we died. All right, let's hit the reset button. It's like, no, let this ride on out. Gotta let it ride on out. Let's see, the menu music for Legend of Dragoon. Okay. Was pretty fire. That's another one. What about you?
For me, tip top up there with GTA 3, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Okay. Because... I mean, my bad, 2, because they had Rage Against the Machine, Mos Def, Talib Kweli on that joint. That was probably the first time I heard a Rage Against the Machine song for me. So that was like, opened my eyes to like rock music really as a kid. But that just going around trying to get all the combos, trying to get skate, jamming out was like an amazing experience for me. Gran Turismo soundtrack was amazing for me because they had international music on there. So it wasn't just American stuff. It was like you getting stuff from all over the world on there.
Ridge Racer.
R4,
that intro when he was driving to pick the girl up on the street. My love for house music started when I had to get behind a fictional automobile.
Exactly. And then I know you don't like this game, but the music in Death Stranding was amazing, chill music, which the whole game is pretty much a chill simulator. But like the music in there was perfect for just...
Being a 2045 U.S. postal worker.
2025 UPS man. Just going across... going across the country, delivering packages.
Yeah, that package you'd be like this and fall over that. No, but I mean that goes. But again, that goes to my point. Like Death Stranding, I only played an hour, right? But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because that first hour, like that intro sequence, is like you piece the music together so well,
right?
Like that it fit. Like again, I think there's this thing of like, well, we want it to be cinematic, and it's like. Leave that for movies. Like games have this thing where the tactile feel of the controller and you having agency over the character and the music is like the soundtrack to the thing that you're doing.
Right.
It's like that is what is magical about music.
That's true. And just building that ambience, like the music can still be important while not being at the forefront. It's like in a game, I'm here to play a game, but the music is there to build the mood as well. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a cinematic moment every time. It doesn't have to feel like Hans Zimmer is in my living room every second.
I wouldn't mind.
Right. I mean, you have the moments, but like, it's also about building that mood through, if I'm just sitting there in the game, not really doing anything yet, having something that's still building the mood. Red Dead Redemption 2 made a great job of that because it was so ambient, environmental to where no matter what you were doing, whether you were in a gunfight or you were like riding across the prairie on your horse, the music was there to like build the mood and really support the experience of it.
Yeah, Mass Effect was another one.
Okay, yeah.
I remember the intro to Mass Effect, like that music. The BioWare's done a great job, back in the day with music. NBA Street.
Oh, boy.
Another one with the soundtrack. Okay, speaking of music, let me ask you this question. And I know you saw it, right? Do you remember when they put 21 Savage, they put a 21 Savage song with Mortal Kombat?
I think so, yeah, because they had him in the game, didn't they?
No, they just had his song for the trailer.
Okay. Oh no, he was in Call of Duty. Okay. Yeah.
But I think he had the song with Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Like, how do you feel about like the conversation that was having around it? Because I was frustrated that it was like, how would this don't fit? Like we gotta put it. I'm like, why is it like every game that comes out has that some rock and roll? Like, I
mean, for certain games, now that question, if Mortal Kombat was already doing like licensed music and it wasn't like their original compositions, then having rap, like arguing against that feels a little racist. But it's like, no, we're putting licensed music. Yeah. He's a current artist. That's not a problem. But for me, I don't really think that's a problem unless it's just out of character for the game. Like, I wouldn't get mad at Madden for having a current pop song on there. Like, Madden is known for using current licensed music. I'm not looking for a John Madden interlude in C minor. It's like, like they do licensed music of the current stuff to draw players in. That's fine with me. Like, but if it's a game where it's not really tied to a specific era or something, I would like some composition, like to build that unique mood.
Do you think hip hop, like when I say hip hop, I mean all of it, from Backpack to like what's on, mainstream to old school to underground to experimental to lo-fi. Like, do you think hip hop gets the respect it deserves? Like,
it doesn't.
Gaming? Okay.
It doesn't get the respect it deserves, even though it's like the dominant musical culture across the world. Yeah. And it's still like, oh, well, we can't really put it in the video game. Like, people need to remember, Black people aren't even the largest consumers of hip hop. So stop acting like y'all don't listen to it.
We'll be out here spitting facts today. That's where we at with it.
So it's like whenever we get those arguments of like, why is this song in here? It's like, you listening to that at the crib.
Yeah,
like,
I get it. I've just always wondered, right? Like it's a dominant, rock and roll. It's like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I like some rock songs. Like I got some songs.
Same
but
here.
like a good old 808.
Exactly.
Right? It's in my balls, and to me, like many of the earlier games that we mentioned, like they leaned on house and techno and some hip hop. And like it was like it made for a very interesting like cultural mix of like sounds.
Right.
And it's like now for example, Hi-Fi Rush, right? It's a rock and roll game. Yeah, and I was enjoying it, right? And I was like, but I also realized like I can't catch the beat. Cause like there's no drum kick and pattern. It's just like it's just the guitar, and I'm just like, I don't know this. Like, I didn't grow up on this riff, and I thought about like, what would it be like if they did some type of game like Hi-Fi Rush and use like hip hop,
right,
as the foundation for like, because the last time we had that was Parappa the Rapper.
That's true. That's the
last time we had an Onion telling us how to make like ramen. Like that's and I remember driving a car and like we were rapping and he like taught me how to rap. And it was like, now we're going kick, punch, kick. And it was like, oh snap, like this is live. Like there's such a miss, I think, sometimes.
That's true.
Like not, you expose people to so many different things. And I think also the thing with music in that background and that is there's so many like producers of different, like that's what I say, when I say hip hop, I mean all of hip hop. I'm not just talking about like what's mainstream. And I'm like, there's a whole catalog of music. Like they reminisce over you in NBA Street. Like, it's like the perfect, like when that thing hit.
When they hit the opening, I was like, I'm ready to ball on them. I need some game breakers.
I got to get the Yeti. If I get the Yeti, it's on. And so, it's true. And it's like, it's an interesting place to be in, right? Because he was like, when you were like Tony Hawk, and I was like, yeah, I remember playing some Tony Hawk. And I remember the music. I was just like, all right, I've had enough, right? Like, it's like, okay, we got some nerds, like some NERD. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like, we can figure some of these out. But then other ones, I think it also speaks to a culture thing, right? Like music also, if it feels like it's coming from some place that you culturally connect with, it builds that like connection to the game, right? And it's like when it's like nothing that you've experienced. Listening to certain songs and certain things, it's like it just takes you out of the immersion.
It's definitely like that representation sometimes depending on the game. Just like we talked in other episodes about character creation, like being able to create yourself and see yourself in the game is important. Yeah. Even the soundtracks, like if it's something you're familiar with, you likely to get more locked into it than if it's like, oh, I'm not really familiar with the genre. Even if you may like it, if you're not familiar with it, you're not gonna make that connection as you play the game. So I think that's valid for sure.
And also, like, I always feel like the DJ, like when they would pick, it's always with sports games, right? Like sports game. I always feel like, who's the DJ building the set list? Because it's just like you're going to we're starting here with this song. Yeah. And then you're going to jump way over here to this song. Right. And then come way back over here. I'm like, why does this?
It's never, like, the sequencing isn't always good, but I've noticed in sports game, like, it is primarily rap music now. Like, unless you play like FIFA, where that you get the house music, the more European pop.
But black people do house music.
For sure.
Like,
they'll have them in there sometimes. Like, the last FIFA I played was like 22, 23. But they have a mix. But then when you go to Madden or 2K, it's like...
Welcome to the trap.
Exactly. Constantly. 808s,
it's like,
drill music, whatever it may be.
And exactly. It's like I went from high fantasy to chilling over here to just like, Oh yeah, like I forgot.
Yeah.
Like here, and I feel it also feels very blatant. It's like we know you black people.
It's like we know you like this.
You know you like this. This
Go
is what
ahead.
you like, right? Like
give
come
us
on.
the 70.
We got the shoes. We got the Jordans. We got the cool music in the background, right? The music in the Jordans.
That's true. I mean, they definitely do play on the market trends. Now, I don't know what the distribution of players are for Madden and 2K. I don't know if they do that because they know it's primarily an American market or what. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it definitely do feel it's like, why is this song on here?
Dude, why? And like, here's the thing: it really pays to make something memorable.
Right.
Because if I'm playing a game for 80 hours, how many times am I going to hear this song?
Exactly.
Like, don't make it just background music. Mm-hmm. Like, or if it is background music, make it something that like sticks out.
Right.
Like, have you seen the memes of like the old 90s Weather Channel music?
Yeah.
It was going. Like, had some slaps on there, right? It is just... It's like, well, I mean, all you're going to do is look at the weather. I mean, you might as well, like, jam out. Yeah, like, make me jam. Like, make me feel like this is, like, you know, the thing. And I think we should put more emphasis on, like, music and sound effects, right? Like, I think there should be more emphasis on it because, again, it locks you in. Like, once you've heard it enough, it drills in your brain and it becomes like that background and it helps you well, for me, it helps me to remember. Like having a visual, having some type of audio helps me to remember what it is that I was doing. So like
and it's definitely a tool that some developers don't use to its full potential as being a tool to build the mood, build the atmosphere, and it's not just slap something in here to like fill up the gap in silence. It's like it can really be a tool that complements the gameplay, the character design, the environmental design to really fill it out for the player. But everyone doesn't think like that. It always depends on whether they're trying to, you know, immerse the player, distract the player, and whatever other myriad factors during the development cycle, you know, makes them make that certain decision.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. You're making a video game. Who you calling to do the music?
It depends on what type of game it is.
Okay, let's say you're making a action adventure game, kind of like what's out now? I'm trying to think.
What, like a Tomb Raider, like an Uncharted?
Yeah, like a Tomb Raider, Uncharted.
Ooh, I feel like for that, I would throw some Flying Lotus in there.
Okay. I
would throw some Just Blaze in there.
Okay. I like Flying Lotus. Even though he did a wonderful job on a show I did not watch.
Which was what?
I'm not going to insult.
I would also throw The Alchemist on there.
Ooh.
So that's just my top three off the top of the dome.
I like that.
What about you?
I feel like Timbaland.
Okay. I like that.
You know who I get to do music for a video game?
Who?
Yay.
Oh, man.
I know. But have you like...
Yay now or yay before?
Yeah, I mean, probably fire me as I hire him, right? Like, no, but I mean, like, one day I decided, like, let me go back to listen. What was that album with, like, Black Skinhead? And like,
that was...
I Am a God. And,
was that Yeezus?
Yeah, Yeezus. Okay. So, like, I went back. I was like, let me listen to Yeezus. I remember I just couldn't stand it when it first came out. And I went back and I listened to it, and I was like, there's a few things here. There's a few, and I was just like, I could see, like, that type of thing fitting in a video game.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about, like, more than just like the feel. I also think about like it is a video game.
Right.
So like there will be like sometimes depending on the game, like wild stuff will happen. Like if I'm running around and then I like pick up a sword to fight a dragon, like I don't, I can that type of thing can like incorporate a different style sonically, right? And so he's just, it can be experimental. Timbaland could be on there. I definitely agree with Alchemist. Like that's
okay. So that Timbaland, yay. Alchemist. I'll put Alchemist on your list too, but you need another one.
I'll put Pharrell up there.
Okay, I think that'd be solid.
You know, I actually
Pharrell or the Neptunes though. Because you know they.
I want to take it. I actually want to take it back. I actually want to take that name. I want to sub that name for like a RIP.
Okay.
And I'll put Doom.
Okay, MF Doom. Yeah.
Now that I thought about it, like you gave me a second. I was like, I put
Doom.
I would put Doom up there.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
I feel like he would do an amazing job
for sure.
I feel like Night Wonder would do a pretty good job. I feel like he would do a good job too. Like setting atmosphere, setting tone.
These are solid choices. Game developers, K-Tronada.
I was about to say, yeah.
Developers, if you hearing us, like if you need some music supervisors, come through. Come holler. We got you.
K-Tronada's another one.
You need that budget though.
Yeah. If I was doing something dark and gritty, I'd probably go with whoever produces for like Conway and Westside Gunn.
Yeah, Stove Got Cooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would get that. Who else would I pick for like music? Who else would I get? I probably, you know what? I call Banner.
Okay.
I call Banner. I've heard Banner make some things that I'm like, wait a minute. Bring in like some orchestra instruments in. Like I'm really big on people who will like do some type of experimentation, and, like pull in live instruments.
Right. Just came to mind LP from Run the Jewels. I have to say him for sure because his stuff is already cinematic to me. So like having that music in for them key moments, I think that would do well in a video game.
I put Anderson .Paak on there. For making like I'm really thinking like artists who I'm like who moves around.
Right.
I think that's pretty much it for right now.
I think we got
my starting list. I'm sure as soon as like I like get in my car.
Yeah.
You know what? There was like one other person to a song you was just been jamming to.
I think that's a solid list for sure. So I mean, I think in terms of why, I think more developers need to understand that music is an ally for them in the game development process. And they need to prioritize it a little bit more. Because just like with a movie, if you don't have good sound, you're not going to have a good movie, no matter what the, what the visuals are. If the gameplay is okay, but the music is bad, it detracts from the experience. And even if the gameplay is okay, but the music is awesome, that could take your game to another level.
And it's a door into your game, right? Like think about how often like people make memes and videos to Interstellar, like that one track, right? Like, and people are like, what is this? Like, why do people keep playing this song, right? Like you're missing an opportunity, one, for like streams and sales of your actual album. But two, it's like it's also a gateway. Like the way in which we use music now is not just to like listen, like solely. Like back in the day, it was like we got the CD, all we do is listen. Like now it is the soundtrack. We chop it up, we put it on TikTok for reels. We put it on YouTube. Like we people play acoustics. Like people rap to it, they sing to it, and it's just like there's a whole like demographic of people that you could get with music that you might not get with the game initially, but that might bring people in. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that, like
is another opportunity to fall in love with the game.
You have like TV shows like Fallout and The Last of Us, like that's one way to bring people in. But for people who like music, like why do you think people love anime intros and stuff? Right. So,
that's true. So for sure, the emotional power of music, important. The role in nostalgia, like if they put a song on the soundtrack that you're familiar with from another experience, that could bring you into the game. And I mean, who knows what the future of video game music is? Now we got AI that can create music just off a prompt and all that type of stuff. So maybe that'll open up the opportunity for developers to create something with varying budgets and still have something that'll grab the player and bring them into the game. So, to wrap it up, here at Ultimate Blerds, it's your boy Recruit Zero.
It's your boy Uncle Charles.
And we were talking about video game soundtracks, nostalgia activated. Make sure you go listen to your favorite soundtrack after this episode.
And let us know on social media. Tell us what
Let us know. We want to know what your favorite stuff is. So we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.